What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be going over our very first lab in our CCNA video course. So before we get started, for you guys in our paid course, you have all these labs available to you. At the time of this recording, I just have the Section 3 Layer 2 labs up. So you should be able to have these labs already there, already built out for you. For the people watching our free course, you'll have to rebuild these labs, but I'm telling you, they're very simple, and the instructions are available to everyone at our GitLab here. So if you are in our paid course, you should have a link to directly to this GitLab. If you're watching this on YouTube or any other streaming service, if you go down to the description, we'll also have the link for this GitLab. And it's very important here that we understand what's in this repository. So we're also going to have our instructions here for the actual lab we're doing. And then we also have this baseline. So at the start of every single lab, we're going to have a baseline that I'm going to have you copy and paste into your network devices. And this is very important because consistency amongst our network devices and CLI templating is very important. It's done now from central repositories in our modern IT environments, right? So, controller-based networking is a thing. For you guys working in smaller environments, maybe your companies can't invest in Cisco SD-WAN or SD access. So you have to create your own solutions. Part of that solution is creating a central repository for CLI templating, and that starts at GitLab and continues with technologies like Ansible, Nornir, Python, right? So this is just my way of kind of introducing Git and some other technologies into a CCNA course, even though it may not be exactly on the exam objectives. So again, since it's not a course going over Git, I'm not going to teach you how to clone and open this up in VS Code. But even for you students out there that are unfamiliar with this, it's easy just to come here, copy, and then paste into your lab environments. Just notice there's only one thing to change here, and that's the host name for switch. And if you're watching these videos in chronological order, I should have already had a video go over baseline configuration and housekeeping commands. So this is the only video that's going to go over that section. In the following videos for any of our labs, I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly at the beginning, grab my baseline, paste it, and move on, right? And then further on in the course, these baselines are already going to be a part of the lab environment. So we won't have to do this when we're just focusing on a more complicated technology like SNMP or OSPF. So with that being said, let's go into our VLAN lab. So the first thing we're going to do here is go to more actions on our left pane and hit start all nodes. And then once all those nodes are started, we're just going to follow our instructions here, which are also in the lab environment, or they're on our GitLab right here in Markdown. Okay, so step 1, turn on all devices, which we have. Step 2, paste baseline from Git. So to do that, I'm going to console into my switch. So we do that here on EVNG with left clicking, opening up my terminal emulation program, and I use Secure CRT. And I haven't customized my Secure CRT yet. That's going to be a bonus video. So in the future videos, you may see a different layout of my Secure CRT. And I'm just going to move this around so we can see the instructions and my CLI at the same time, okay? Let me zoom in here. Awesome. Okay, so paste baseline from Git. So now what I'm going to do here is just keep it simple. Instead of going to my repository on my VS Code on my local computer, I'm just going to come over here, go back to the root of the repository, find my switch baseline. I'm going to copy all this, come back to EVNG topology, and I'm going to right click in here. And the cool thing with Secure CRT is it lets me change anything before pasting. For you guys that are using PuTTY or some other emulation program, when you right click into the CLI and you have something on your clipboard, it's just going to paste right away. So you may have to change this host name by pasting this into a notepad or something. So I'm going to paste that. Boom, we have our baseline. And now I'm going to go through these steps. So step 3, create VLANs 10 and 20 and name them engineering and marketing. Okay, so let's do that. So from privilege mode, I'm going to back out like we just logged into this. And if you don't know the username and password, all you have to do is just go look at that baseline and get, and it's going to tell you. Let's see. Should be Cisco. Cisco. I might just be typing this too fast. Okay, here we go. All right, we're there. So we're going to go into global configuration mode by typing in configure terminal. If you guys don't know the shortcuts I'm using when I'm typing, like the tab key, please go watch our baseline configuration videos or our housekeeping videos. It's going to show you all my shortcuts and hotkeys. So create the VLAN. So we're going to type in VLAN 10. We're going to give it a name, engineering. And then boom, we created the VLAN, right? Well, let's go check. So if we type in do show VLAN brief, it looks like VLAN 10 is not there. Well, why? Well, we just created it, didn't we? I saw us go into the VLAN subconfiguration mode and we named it. That is correct. But for this VLAN to actually be created and saved in the VLAN database, we have to type in exit. And now if we do our show commands again, do show VLAN brief, boom, it's there. So let's finish this up by creating our last VLAN here, VLAN 20. We're going to name it marketing. Hit exit. Awesome. And now step 4, assign the VLANs to the correct ports. So for this, we're just going to move over here. And we see that VLAN 10 is a part of ETH01. VLAN 20 is a part of ETH00. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to type in interface Ethernet 01. I'm going to give it a description because I like to have good administration and good, I guess documentation on my running config, and say this is VLAN 10 engineering, put abbreviated there. And then I'm going to type in the first command we need to do when assigning it a access VLAN, which is switch port mode access. Switch port mode access. So this is very important because there's a lot of different modes we could have this switch port running in. We're not making a trunk. We're not making a .1Q tunnel. We're making this a basic access port. A lot of my students, guys, when they first start typing the CLI, especially the ones that are, for lack of better words, kind of IT illiterate, this is their very first IT experience. I always tell them, think of that switch like you're talking to maybe an employee, or you're just telling your dog what to do, right? You keep it simple, right? You're just telling this switch port, hey, I need you to be in access mode because I need my users to access the network. So it's so simple. Hey, switch port. Hey, interface. Your switch port mode is going to be access because I need users to access the network from you. Okay, well, what VLAN are they in? They're going to be in switch port access VLAN 10. And boom, you're done. That's it. Now we've assigned the VLAN to the correct port. Let's go do VLAN 20 now. So we're going to type in interface ETH0/0. We're going to type in description VLAN 20 marketing switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 20. Awesome. And now what's it say? Step 5, put rest of the ports in a black hole VLAN. So a part of these labs is always going to be a lot of show commands I'm going to do and try to explain in every lab so you really start to understand and how to navigate the CLI in your Cisco device. So step 5 says put the rest of the ports in a black hole VLAN. Well, we know interface 00 and 01 are already used. But how would we know that if we were just jumping into this switch? What show commands do we have available to kind of get the layout of our port configuration? Those are a couple. We could type in show IP interface brief. And let me just expand this here. We could type in show IP interface brief. And this is going to show us all the ports we have. But how do we know which ones are assigned to VLANs and users are connected to it? Well, we can also do this command here, show interface status. And this is actually going to show us the name we gave, if it's connected, and then what VLANs. Now, since this is a emulated switch, for some reason it just says connected, but in real world, this would say not connect, meaning nothing's plugged into it. And even so, we see it's part of the native VLAN, which we don't want. If these ports are up, which they are, 2 and 3, we don't want anybody just to be able to plug in and wreak havoc on our network and start doing some layer 2 attacks on us. Another command we have is show interface description, which I think if you're doing good descriptions is a great command to kind of get the lay of the land of your switch. So we're going to place ETH02 and 03 into a black hole VLAN. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to show you command here, interface range, ETH02 through 3, which is going to allow us to actually configure both these interfaces at the same time. Another great command. We're going to type in description, black hole VLAN. And these descriptions are just how I like to do them, but it doesn't matter. There is no set standard for getting a description. Switch port mode access. I'm just going to have shortcut it here. I don't need to type in the whole command. And I always give my black hole VLANs 888. Don't know why. But that is going to accomplish step 5. Now, step 6, verify VLAN assignment. So how do we do this? One command is do show VLAN brief. And this is going to show us the VLANs we've created, their names, and what ports are assigned to which VLAN. Another command is do show VLAN, which is going to give us the full database, which I think is just, it's so much. We really don't need that. Show VLAN brief is just fine. And then we could also just check our individual interfaces. We can do show run pipe section interface. We can see all of our interfaces and what VLANs they're assigned to. We could check out the running config for an individual interface with this command, show run interface ETH01. We could go through and look at all of them. Obviously not the easiest way. And now step 7, verify where the standard VLANs are saved. So this is what I was going to show you guys. Remember, standard VLANs, standard VLANs are not saved in the NVRAM, the startup config. They're saved in a separate folder or directory called the VLAN database. That's a part of our flash storage. Let me type in directory. Sometimes with these emulated switches, I don't know why it said it doesn't have a flash. So let's see if we can do it with disk 0. Let's see, disk 1. This is actually good. I'm kind of learning where this. Let's see, it has an NVRAM. Maybe it's system. Oh, it's just dir. The dir directory is the flash. Okay. Excuse me. So if we type in dir here, we can see our VLAN database here. Okay, so this is separate from our actual NVRAM configuration. Yeah, you can't do show flash. So some systems I know on my switches I've worked in the real world, I've been able to type in more flash and then the file name. But either way, this puts the point across, right? dir, we can see the VLAN database separate from our NVRAM. Awesome. So step 8 is delete the VLAN.dat from the flash and reboot the switch. So since I think I'm on a iOS over Linux, you can see I'm in the Unix root directory. So I'm going to show you how you would do this real world, how to delete the VLAN.dat. So it'd be delete space flash colon VLAN.dat. And this would get rid of the VLAN database on a real switch. Maybe a bonus video, I'll boot up one of my Catalyst switches here and show you that on real equipment. But either way, the point is still the same. All right. So this was our first VLAN Lab 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if I went a little fast, the great thing about technology is we can slow down the speed, we can rewatch. And I get, again, for my paid course students, along with this GitLab, you also get a configuration book that you can print or download that's going to show you every single command that I use in the course with the description of what it does. And you can print it out, or you can have me actually mail you the Trepa Technologies command book if you purchase our online course. Okay. So with that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and stay tuned as we go over VLAN Lab 2.